Hi, welcome to this tutorial, and I am going to explain the Singleton design pattern with the help of some Java programs. So let's start with the employee class. So I have employee class and I am creating a constructor. Let me have one default sys out here, like employee object has been created. And then what I will do, I will have one employee is equal to new employee. Right now I'm not explaining anything related to Singleton. This is just to show what we are doing in general and what we can do with the help of Singleton. So I have created two objects for employee class, and let me print employee and then employee. So what we have seen here is I have an employee class with a default constructor, and then I have main method, and let me run this program. So you can see uh, employee object has been created twice. This is printing twice, and then both the object has different references. So if we are not having a singleton pattern, then irrespective of how many times we are creating, every time we are getting a new object created for our class. So we can avoid this if we have the singleton design pattern. So let me show you how to do this. So first thing, I will make this as private. So as soon as you save this, you are getting this error, like this constructor is not visible anymore to this main method, and now this change is making impossible to create an instance directly or by just calling new employee from any different class. So what I will do here is I will have one public method so that someone can access, public static, and then return types would be employee get instance. So if I need an instance, I should call this method get instance. Follow the naming convention. That's always a good practice. So I call the get instance and then return call instance. And what is this instance is I will have one private instance variable, private static employee instance is equal to new employee. So you saw that. So I have done this much changes. Let me do one more thing, is that I will have a private static and count. This will help us to understand like how many times someone's trying to get instance of this class. This out an instance of employee has been requested. Request number is equal to plus count. So now go to main method, and now we can't say new employee anymore because that is a private. So employee dot get instance. This is how we are going to get the instance of employee object. Now let's run this program and see the difference. So now you can see that employee object has been created, which is inside the constructor is getting executed only once, and both the reference of employee 1 and employee 2 is pointing to the same thing. So by this change, we have achieved a singleton initialization of employee class. One thing which is important here, that before I have called employee.getInstance, you can see that before this line is getting executed and called, this line is getting executed. Before this line is getting executed. So it means whenever the employee class is getting loaded, that time itself, this instance is getting created. And that's why this way of singleton implementation is known as eager initialization. So this is eagerly getting initialized. So this is called eager initialization implementation of singleton pattern. Now, one more way we have for eager initialization is, what if I remove this from here and I will have one static block. Inside the static block, I will have one try catch block, and let's have instance is equal to new employee, and maybe here I can say new exception. Okay, that's it. So this way is helpful for catching or handling any exception if something goes wrong. And this is also a eager way of initialization. Let me rerun this main method and it will be very clear. So even in this way, you can see that employee object has been created, which inside the constructor is getting executed before the line like instance has been requested. It means in this case also, the instance is getting created eagerly. So we have learned here two different way of static, meaning two different way of singleton implementation using the eager initialization. Now, we will see how to avoid this eager initialization. Because if someone is not requesting, why to create an instance of this object in advance? So what I will do is I will remove the static block from here, and then what I will do is I will have the initialization only when someone requests the instance. So new employee. So here you can see that if someone is requesting, then only we are creating. So this line gets executed. But one problem here as of now is that every time someone will request, that instance will be created. So let me run this program and show you. Every time I'm requesting get instance, you can see that employee object has been created. And at the last also, you can see that both the employee and employee 2 is pointing to two different references. So this is not singleton. So how to make this singleton? It's very simple. Just have one null check here. If null equal true instance, then only we need to create the instance. Else no need to do that. So now this changes to singleton implementation. Let me rerun the program and show you. Yeah, so you can see that first request came. After first request came, this constructor is getting executed, and then the second request came and that line is not getting executed because this is no more true, this is false. So system will not coincide and the already available instance will be returned here. So this is known as lazy initialization way of singleton implementation. So this is good, but there is a problem with this. What happens if multiple threads are trying to get hold of the get instance method? So let's see. If that happens, then there is a problem. Let's see that. So let me create a thread here. Thread. I'm just creating a simple thread just for demonstration purpose, not a complete implementation. Thread inside new enable, and inside here I'm moving this object creation. So I am having now inside the run method I am printing the employee. So let me copy this and have one more thread. Let me call this thread 1 and thread 2, and now I have the thread 2 will try to create one more instance. So what I have done here, I have just tried to create two threads. Thread 1 try to get hold of the get instance method and get the instance for the employee object. Similarly, thread 2 also try to get the same thing. So thread is not yet started. So let me call the thread 1 dot start method and thread 2 dot start method. So now it's complete. So let me run this program. Our implementation was completely lazy initialization of singleton implementation, but here we can see that there is no problem. We didn't observe any issue. Employee object has been created, called only once. Let me rerun this program. Let me rerun this program. Oh, once again you got the same output. Let me rerun. Okay, fine. So every time we are doing this, we are getting the same result. But if both thread reaches there, oh, we got it now. So in this time, luckily, both the thread reach this method at the same time. And you can see that even if here it says a request number 1 and request number 2, but both the thread called the new employee at the same time. And that's the reason this constructor is getting called twice. And you can see the both employee 1 and employee is pointing to two different reference. So this is the problem with this. So if multiple thread is trying to get hold of the get instance, then it may be possible that they are creating two different instance. And if that is the case, our implementation is no more singleton implementation. So how to avoid that and what to do in order to overcome this problem? So let's see that. What I will do now is I will have a SYN synchronized keyword here. And as soon as I write synchronized keyword, then at any point of time, only one thread will get hold of this entire method. So now, even if you run this method, main method n number of time, always that constructor will be called only once, and the object will, both the object employee and employee 2 will be pointing to the same reference, irrespective of how many times you are running this. So we have achieved the singleton implementation once again. But the synchronized keyword itself cost much in terms of the system, memory and allocation, time allocation. So what we will do here, we will remove the synchronized keyword and try to have one alternate way here is synchronized block. And inside this, I will pass employee dot class, and then I will have one more if null check, null equal to instance, then only create the object. This way of singleton implementation is also known as the double lock mechanism. So 2 times we are checking, so known as the double lock mechanism. So let's try to rerun this program and see the output. So here in this time, you can see that both the thread get inside this method at the same time. Both is printing 1, 1. Even if they were trying to run the count plus count, it didn't happen. Both are printing the request number 1. Then also the object has been created only once, and both the reference, both the like employee and employee 2 is pointing to the same reference. So here we have seen that how we have achieved the singleton using the lazy initialization. So we have discussed the eager initialization with the static block, and then we have discussed the lazy initialization with the synchronized, and then we have discussed the lazy initialization with the synchronized block or double locking mechanism. And now we will see the Bilpug singleton implementation. So what we'll do is let's try that. So let me show you how to achieve that. So I will try to modify the employee class. So here what we will do is we will have will not have this much thing here. Let me first show you how to do that. I will have one inner class private static we'll call this Bilpug singleton. And this is a class, inner class. So this is Bilpug implementation way. So I have a inner class, and in this inner class I will do private static employee instance is equal to new employee. Okay, and then what I will do is let me remove this is not needed, and then what I will do here is I will return Bilpug singleton dot instance. So this is a different way of having the singleton implementation for our class. So in this case, what we used to do is we are having one inner class, and inside the inner class, we are creating the instance whenever someone is requesting. So I'm not changing anything in this. Let it have the multiple thread when we want to see that how it happens with the multiple threads. So let's rerun that and see. So thread 1, thread 2, and employee object has been created. Both is pointed to the same reference. So we have saw here that how we have done the singleton implementation using the buildbug singleton. So this is another way of creating the singleton implementation for a Java class. Now we will try to understand different concept. Till now we have saw that there are multiple ways to have the singleton implementation, but is that enough? To understand that, we'll try to see another example. Let me change this to the lazy initialization, which we did earlier. So once back, and that's it. So here we had the lazy initialization where we created our programs. Let me rerun this. Keep it simple. Yeah, that's fine. Even I will remove the threadings here and I will just have the simple like what we have in the beginning. So just we are creating two different employee, and then we have a lazy implementation, not the thread, just to understand the process. So I am creating this. Since this is not a multiple thread, this will run perfectly fine. Now what happens here? We saw that we have created two different instances and both are returning pointing to the same instance, even if I am calling multiple times, because I have the double locking way of singleton implementation here. So what I'm going to show you, what if we are creating we are trying to use the reflection which comes with the Java. So I am doing a employee and then employee with reflection and make this as null. Now what I will do is I will have the constructor and then constructors is equal to get me employee dot class dot get declared constructors. Okay, I did this. Now what I will do is I will have the for loop this and then constructors is here, and this is called this will give me an array, so let me make this array. That's it. And then this is a constructor and constructor. Okay, so I got this. What I will do here is while iterating I will have constructor dot set accessible, and after that what I will do is I will have maybe I will try to get the object from here. So constructor dot new instance, and inside this I to pass anything. That's it. And then let me get this to the object employee with reflection is equal to, I need to typecast. That's it, and this will throw some exception, so let me have try with multiple catch. So what I did here, I have tried to create an instance of employee using the reflection, and let me print the employee with reflection. So let's see what happens now. So when I do this, you can see that till here everything was fine. For first two requests, it is pointing to the same reference. But what happens after that, when we are trying to create an instance using the reflection mechanism, it is creating one new object. It is once again calling the constructor here. And that's why this line is getting printed once again. So this is breaking the entire thing which we have learned till now. So this is breaking the concept itself. So what to do and how to stop that? So nothing to worry. In this case, whenever if someone is trying to create an instance using the reflection, what we will do, we will have one further check here. If null not equal to instance, then what we will do, we'll throw we will throw a exception. We will throw a new illegal state exception, and we'll say Singleton already created, maybe anything. That's it. And then now let's see what happens. So after that, if someone is trying to rerun this program, till this it is fine. And after that, even if you are trying the reflection, this is giving an exception, which is completely fine. We still have the singleton implementation for the employee class, and this is not breaking. So here we have learned about the singleton with the reflection. Now we will discuss one another concept where serialization is breaking the way how we have implemented singleton till now. So let's understand how that happens. So here you can see that I have an employee class. So what I will do is I will have the implements serializable interface. I want to store the object, and then once it's done, okay, let me add this number. That's it. Okay, so we saw that this is completely fine implementation with the singleton. What we will do here is we will try to see what happens if we read and write the object. Let me delete this, and then I have an employee here. What I will do is I will try to create a object. So object output, object output, new object output a string, then let me have the new file output stream, and I will make it employee dot serializable. After that, what I will do is I will have object output dot write object, and inside that I am passing the employee. Let me close the object output dot close. So till now we have created one employee object, and then what we will do is we are doing here is writing the object. Let me read that one. So again, object input, new object input a stream, file input stream, and the same file name which I have given here. That's it. And then what I am doing is I am getting the object into employee 2 is equal to object input dot we have a read object method here, read object, and then we need to cast it to employee. And after that, let me close the object input first. Object input dot object input dot close. What happened? Okay, this is wrong. Object input dot close, and then I need to print the employee 2 and see what happens. This is throwing some exception. So let me have the try catch here. I will put everything inside the catch and here so that we can see the output very quickly. Let me even bring this inside. Control X. Okay, so done. So what we have seen here, one more exception. Wait, let me existing catch clause. That's it. So what we have done here is I'm trying to create a employee object and then writing to the file and then reading this. We already have the implementation here, which is safe. We have a singleton double locking implementation. Then we have handled the reflection as well. But let's see what happens if we run this program. So when we run this program, you can see that till here it is fine. Employee has been created. But what happens? Why the employee 2 has the different class reference here? So whenever we are doing the deserialize, it creates a new object every time. So what to do now? So in this case, what we have to do is we have to write a read resolve method. So what I will do here is I will have protected, return type is object, and read resolve, R-E-S-O-L-V, read resolve, and this will return instance. Okay, that's it. Now let's rerun this program and see. So we are getting the same instance. So this is all about the singleton design pattern. We have discussed eager initialization. We have discussed eager initialization with the static block. When we have the initialization with instance variable itself, then we in the static block we have moved in the static block. Later we have saw the lazy initialization, and then we have seen the lazy initialization with the synchronized block in the method. Later we remove from the method and move into the synchronized block, and then we saw that how the reflection was breaking. So we had here a null check once again in the constructor, and then we saw that how the serialization was impacting the singleton design pattern. So we had the read resolve method. um, so that's all about like singleton implementation. We definitely have enum way of initialization, but enum is by default is giving the singleton, and we have not that much flexibility. So like we can't do that much. So that's the reason I'm not covering that here. So this is all about like singleton design pattern. Hope this was helpful for you. Please post your comment and any suggestions. This is my first tutorial video here. Um, Thank you. Thanks for watching.